Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman, and welcome to the end of year Everyone But Us podcast special. We'd like to thank you for your continued support, and I hope that you enjoy this show. Sending Christmas joy and a Happy New Year to everyone. Sing it. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, and my heart is bright. Don't know the rest of the words with the next bit, but I'm a reader.
Fucking hell, mate.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.
What's up? My name's Waymer.
My name's Lewis.
My name is Sugar White.
And welcome to the Everyone But Us end of year special. You most probably don't care, but make some noise! Ooh. How are you guys doing on this very merry occasion?
I'm merry as fuck.
So am I. I'm really happy.
Yeah, man.
Singing Christmas carols with Michael McDonald back there.
Yeah, thank you to Michael McDonald for flying all the way over from the States.
He just flew into Luton.
There's no problem, guys.
We just made the call when he was here, man. What a G, man. So yeah, how you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I can't complain much. I've had a long fucking day doing my usual shit, emptying fruit machines and pool tables and that. I had to make this long ass journey though, innit? Because I forgot to pack my bag with what's that fucking shit called again?
Cocaine.
Fucking I fucking wish, mate. I'll be shot in it right now. I wouldn't be shot in nothing. Couldn't even take a fucking shot at the goal. No, as I was going to say, yeah, I forgot to pack some chalks in my bag this morning to give to one of the sites because we've got pool tables and have loads of people coming. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to go and grab it. And it was in Shepherd's Bush. So I had to go all the way to Beckton and then all the way from fucking Beckton back to Shepherd's Bush.
Just get some chalk.
Well, you know what I mean? I'm like one of them guys, man. I'm a nice guy. I like to fucking fulfill a promise, you know what I'm saying? So
The promise of the chalk.
That's it, mate.
Couldn't you have gone to a shop and bought some chalk?
That's what I was
Fuck
thinking.
that, mate. I ain't fucking
Better still, wasn't there a school that you could just nip in and nick some?
Yeah,
He ain't allowed around schools no more.
I don't think that would be fucking that would be viable at all to fucking just walk in and nick some chalk. They don't even use chalkboards anymore. They use whiteboards and stuff now.
You're not allowed to say whiteboard. You're not allowed to say blackboard.
Can't say blackboard anymore
Either. What can we call it? Just a board.
That's rubbish.
Yeah, you can't.
Nah.
They don't have blackboards anymore, mate.
No, I know you don't have blackboards, but I thought that was always just like a Daily Mail fucking
Nah, I think that's
that's
quite
made
I
up.
think it's one of, and also I think it's just the whole chalk thing, innit? Like, remember in school where you have the teacher just always have fucking chalk marks up their top and shit, like, where they'd be just fucking writing along on the fucking chalkboard and their massive ass fucking belly would be just rubbing against the chalkboard.
I just remember like talking in class and then the teacher turning around and just throwing the fucking chalk at my head. Shut up!
Yeah, man.
Damn.
You can't get away with that. Can't get away with that now, can you?
I remember one of my teachers, Mr. Ball, who used to have a holster with a what's it called?
A gun.
With a judge's hammer. So
Shut up.
Yeah, man, he was wild, man. Mr. Ball was crazy. So
What did he do with a hammer?
he just slammed it down on the table. Like
Oh,
one
shit.
time he launched it across the room. I mean, I wasn't in that class, but apparently he launched it once. But yeah, he was no joke. He used to play basketball and shit with mans at lunchtime and that. He was.
Was he like Judge Judy?
Now he was like Judge Rinder.
Judge Grinder.
Judge Rinder's fucking weird, mate.
Judge Grinder.
I wanted to ask you guys, are you like Christmas
Yeah, I'm
people?
alright, Wayne. Cheers, yeah. I ain't been up too much. Carry on.
Steve, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you. How you doing,
Fuck you,
Steve?
it's too late now.
But
Let's
you're
talk
like,
about
yeah,
Christmas.
but to be honest, every time I ask you, it's pretty boring. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I know, yeah.
Nah, how you doing,
I don't
Steve?
do
I'm
any work,
joking.
do I, man? I just
You've
fucking sit around at home and go work.
Any EDL rallies?
Yeah, I've been on a couple, man. I went on that one with Tommy Robinson the other day.
How's Tommy doing since he's been out?
Yeah, he's still a cunt.
There's no need to talk about your leader like that, mate.
So like, yeah, Christmas is here, man. How you guys? Are you guys Christmas people? Am I sitting with some two Grinches or?
Yeah. I ain't a Grinch. It's fucking boring, innit? All you do is just sit around doing fuck all and watching shit telly. Although the alternative is work, so, you know.
What about you, Lewis, man?
You know what? There's been a few years where I've not really been into Christmas and that, but I don't mind it actually. You get to just spend time at home with your family. you get to eat loads of nice food, plenty of drink and shit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas.
Man,
I am. I do like
me
Christmas.
personally, I love Christmas, man, because it's that. I know a lot of people, they have people in the family they don't get on with, but even if one day you can pretend that you like each other, you should do it, man, because tomorrow is never promised, man. So just get your family around you and pretend that you like each other. You like each other for a day.
That's some
Then Boxing
deep
Day,
shit,
go
man.
back to hating them again. No, but I love Christmas, man. Like, I also love Christmas songs, man. So I wanted to ask you guys, what's some of your favourite Christmas songs? We started with Silent Night.
Yeah, that's the classic, the one with Michael McDonald's remix.
Thank you, Michael.
One of my, I can't remember the fucking actual title, but it's that Paul McCartney one. You know the one?
Simply Having, yeah.
Yeah,
Simply, that one. That's
do you know what? I never know the words. That's
Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Simply having.
That's the only bit that anyone knows, isn't it? Nobody knows the like.
It's Christmas time.
I know the bit that goes ding dong, ding dong. Yeah, I know that bit.
Oh yeah. One of my favourites is I've written down a few that I love to hear.
Mariah Carey, innit?
Nah, I can't stand that, man. She's on the Z list for that one.
Oh shit, Z
The
list.
Z list.
The diva's been demoted.
She's been demoted. I'm gonna say, and I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna like this. Fairy Tale of New York.
Oh, the Pogues.
The Pogues.
Yeah.
I never understand what he's saying, but it's amazing.
Wayman's version just sounded like a motorbike.
Two-stroke fucking
Crazy
engine. Two-stroke fucking fairy tale. What's it called? Fairy Tale of New York.
Fairy Tale of New York.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what? There was a line in that song, and I'm only going to say it once.
Controversial for
Yeah,
Brian.
where he says, you're a cheap lazy... No, she says, you're a cheap lazy faggot. And they tried to ban it. But apparently the F word, means something different in Ireland. It doesn't mean... It hasn't got that homophobic slur. Do you remember that happening?
I personally, I don't know the story behind it. But I know the words can mean a pile of sticks or something, or some.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Yeah. Like, it's fucking like a tinderbox, like for lighting fires and things.
So I would say cheap lazy...
Well, not a tinderbox, but it's just like a bunch of sticks that you'd light a fire with.
Don't know, they might have just rhymed well. I don't think.
You know what was funny?
Oh, what, if McBoo was here, he'd be able to tell us, wouldn't he?
Shout out to McBoo. Do you know what's funny is when they have that on, on TV, they played all the Christmas songs.
Yeah.
They beat that word out.
Of course they do, like, because they
But
don't.
if it doesn't mean that, yeah, it's kind of mad, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, it's also that you can get those pork faggots. Those what's it called? That food from the West Country. I forgot what they called Mr. I think the geezer's name's Mr. Brains or Mr. Brines or something like that. It's some weird fucking food,
That's
mate.
just fucking old school food, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably. I want to say poor man's food, but nah, it's not poor man's. Working class man's food.
Working class. I mean, the next song I was thinking of is classic, "The War Is Over," John Lennon.
What one's that?
The war is over. The one with the one with the token black people in the end singing.
What a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And a happy
classic.
New Year.
Oh, yeah.
Heard that loads of times today, man. Every pub I go into, they're all playing their Christmas tunes and shit, innit?
That's a classic one.
Yeah.
See, that is something that fucking drives me mad about Christmas. Like, play it over the week of Christmas.
Nah, you got to start playing
I
it.
don't need
You
to
are
hear it on
Grinch,
December
you're a Grinch,
fucking-
innit?
Some dude said to me the other week that in his pub he was working at, they have to start playing it, I think, the last weekend of November or the last week in November, they start
This guy's
Christmas
a
tunes.
Grinch. You got to build up the spirit, man. Was you never a kid?
Look,
Forward
when I was
to seeing Santa Claus?
when I was a kid, you spend the whole of December looking forward to Christmas, but it weren't Christmas till you broke up from school. Now it's Christmas from fucking November.
Yeah, that's because they want people to get in the shops and buy shit.
Exactly, mate.
That's why,
Yeah,
but-
exactly, and
it's
that's
all
another
the-
reason why I
I'm not
don't
mad at
like
it.
it, because of capitalism.
Yo, can we give E17 a pass for Stay Now?
Yeah.
Is that a classic song?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good Christmas tune.
We can't keep singing on this. Everyone's going to tune off if we just keep singing. There's not a party that you haven't been at Christmas where that song's not come on and you've like, Stay Now.
Yeah.
And just sung it with all your mates. You know
I
what
may
mean?
have done that in a karaoke about 2 or 3 years back as well.
We need to get them, the next Ironed Out gig we do, we need to get the white jackets with the fur collars.
You're on your fucking own, mate.
We got to do it, man. And with the back, what was it? They had the Timberland boots with
They
baggy
used to have some mad coloured fucking camo wear in it.
That has some, yeah,
I
camo.
do miss baggy trousers and Timberland boots.
baggy trousers.
I
Yeah.
I do miss it.
The strangest song that I hear at Christmas is "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?" Is that what it's called? Do they know?
Live Aid.
Live Aid. And I'll tell you why, because I hear that song like at so many Christmas parties, people stuffing their faces with fucking sausages, people fucking drinking, food all over the floor, everyone drunk, and then everyone's going, jumping up and down, laughing. And you think this song's actually about poverty? It's a weird song, isn't it?
Mate, that line is Bono sings it, innit? Thank God tonight it's them instead of you. It's like, fucking hell, man. That's a bit dark.
No, yeah, it is, isn't it, when you think about it?
Thank God there's some kid in Ethiopia in 1986 and fucking...
It was 85 or 86?
85, I don't know, something like that.
Something like that.
That said, when I was a 5-year-old, I fucking loved that song.
It's a good song, but it's just weird that they sing it at parties. Do you know what I mean?
It's got that proper hook. That keyboard hook. It's
a pop song, isn't it?
I mean, pop song.
Obviously, the whole meaning, the reason the song was done, obviously, was to raise money for charity. But over the years, it just becomes another Christmas song, and people forget the actual message.
But people most probably. I mean, is that money still going to charity or going to in someone's pocket?
Hell no, that money's not going to fucking charity anymore. They've spent up their fucking allocation, mate.
That's it. There's your 10%. Run along.
What I heard is, I read something about how during the whole. Who's this?
Oh, we've got a special
Who the
guest.
fuck's this?
We're gonna break. We'll be right back.
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Yo, what's up? We are back. And all this talk of Christmas songs is gonna stop because two friends have just walked in the building. One of them we don't really care about. What's up, Ammo? Ammo from Life Betrayed Us is in the building. Make some noise!
Fuck off, I hate you more.
Shout out. But then we've got a second very special guest all the way from over the pond. He's come to watch the terrible football team.
Shut up. Shut
Can
up.
we make some noise for Mitz? Mitz, how you doing, man? You alright?
Great. I'm honored to be here, and I apologize that I didn't let you know that I was coming through town.
That's alright. You can blank me.
No. But I told him when we got to the pub, I was gonna start reaching out to people. I got in super late last night and hadn't even got my bearings straight yet, and we were already out drinking.
So what are you here for, man?
So I'm glad you asked.
Other than watching a shit football team.
Glad you asked. No.
Fuck you.
I'm on my way home. From Tel Aviv, Israel.
Shalom, 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 shalom.
Emma will be providing the background noises throughout this podcast.
So I got asked to produce a band from out there about a year ago, and we just did it starting. I flew out there, I think the 28th, landed on the 29th, and I've been in the studio ever since then. And then the way I saw it was like, okay, well, on my way home, there happens to be a little football, and I'll come visit all my friends here in London. And so I finagled my way to. I had those guys. I organized it so they flew me out there, and then I told them, I said, book me home from London, and I'll make my own way from Tel Aviv.
Business class, I hope.
I wish. I wish if it was business class, it was some low end business. Can we get on fucking Wizz Air?
Wizz Air.
Yeah, one of those.
What's that film with Snoop Dogg? Soul Plane.
Yeah.
Was it like Soul Plane? You haven't seen that film, no?
It was Soul Plane full of some very interesting people.
Can we get
Hungarian airline flying from Israel to England?
Wow.
That's his.
Did you get food on it?
No, they
charge
I'll tell you a
you.
funny story. They came through with the cart and they had snacks and stuff, and I hadn't eaten anything for a while, so I was gonna get a sandwich and a drink, and they put it on my tray, and then they only take a credit card, so I take my credit card out, and for some reason, it being an American credit card, and we're up at 30,000 feet, the thing's not working. So I was about to sink into this sandwich, and they're like, "Your credit card's not working." And they're like, "Do you have any euros?" I'm like, "No, I don't have any euros." I'm like, "I have shekels." They're like, "We don't take shekels."
What the fuck's that?
It's Israeli money.
Oh, right.
And so I had they're like, "I have U.S. cash." They're like, "Maybe someone wants to change it." I'm like, nobody on this plane wants fucking U.S. cash. So they ended up taking the stuff away from me. They took the food back.
Let me get this right.
They took it back.
They took it back. I couldn't pay for it.
On the cross-Atlantic flight, you have to pay for food.
No, not cross Atlantic. This is coming from
yeah, of course.
from Tel Aviv.
Yeah, sorry.
Tel Aviv, I flew into.
But it's still about a 5-hour flight without months.
It was ridiculous. It was almost 6 hours. They were charging people for water.
So who was the band?
So the band's called Eternal Struggle.
Okay, yeah, because I think I've read something about this on Facebook. I
Right.
haven't heard of the band before. Are they
Right.
like straight hardcore band or?
They're definitely crossover. They consider themselves a hardcore band, but in my eyes, they're way more metal than they are hardcore. They're metalcore, but they're not metalcore in like a Hatebreed vein. They're like metalcore in like a Marauder vein, or that just like doomy, really like really dark, great like beat down parts and some upbeat stuff. But I was surprised when they reached out. I was intrigued to be hearing from a band from Tel Aviv. Like, you don't think of that as a city for hardcore bands. And then they sent me some music, and I'm like, damn, this shit's good. And their background is that what put them on the map is they won a contest to get onto Wacken Festival in Germany.
Wacken, yeah.
So they were in this competition with all these other bands, and it wasn't even like the best band from Israel. Once they won their own local region, which was Tel Aviv, they had to compete against another like 10 bands from other cities. So
Wow.
the winner got a spot on one of these stages at Wacken Festival in 2017. So they got there on their own merits. How many bands can say they competed with other bands to get where they were? It's pretty impressive.
You can imagine they're fucking good live then.
They're good live. They're good. They're to me they're like the undiscovered band. They're a really good band, and they're so hungry. They're just dying. Like they talk.
You should have bought them a sandwich if your card worked.
No, I was alone.
I'm not that type of hungry. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, they're a really hungry band, and they were telling me the other night how they've considered like moving to mainland Europe just to try to get into the mix. They really want to start getting in.
Do they play hardcore shows like,
In their city, yeah.
Oh, but they haven't really played outside their city.
They played
as of
Germany on Wacken
Germany.
Festival.
And that's
I know of.
amazing.
They might have done some other stuff, but the only thing I know that they did was Wacken, and then they play. They're like the hometown hardcore band in Tel Aviv. But you can only do, how many shows can you do in Tel Aviv in a given year? 3 or 4. You don't want to saturate out your market or your audience. So.
No, for real, man. I mean, so how did you get into the recording thing? Because you also recorded one of me and Lewis's really good friend, Strength Approach.
Oh,
Yes.
Blasi's band,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they reach out to you as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, even before I ever played in bands, I had a studio background. I went to school for audio engineering. After that, I worked in a studio in New York City that was one of the top studios in the world. When I first started there, we had like Lionel Richie and Eric Clapton, Mariah Carey, James Brown, you name it. It was a top level house, and I was a gopher there. I wasn't doing anything. I was making coffee and vacuuming the place and answering the phones. But it was that's what got my foot in the door. At night, when the place was closed, I'd be sneaking in hardcore bands. I brought Sub-Zero in there. I brought in Dark Side New York City. Dark Side was like the offshoot of Sheer Terror. It was Alan Blake from Sheer Terror, and so I was doing that stuff. So I had a studio background from when I was 18 years old, and then I started playing in bands. I was in Crown of Thorns, and then I was in Scarhead, and then I was in Madball, and then 2, 3, 5, even more now, like 4 or 5 years ago. Me and Alex from Strength Approach, singer Alessandro. I don't know how it came up because it's a ways ago now, but it somehow came up like, hey, they're doing an EP. He asked me to produce it, and it went from there.
Was that the first band that you ever done, like a full length on?
No, I mean, as I said, I did some stuff.
I know you done something, but hardcore bands. Sorry,
I did hardcore bands back then as well. But, But
okay.
since the gap of my playing career and touring career, that was the first thing I'd done in many years. So, you know, it was awesome. And I ended up doing, that was an EP. And then I ended up going back there 2 years later and doing a full length for those guys.
That's fucking dope, man. So I just want to say, like, me, Lewis and Steve, we haven't prepared for this interview at all, but so we're just going to throw some questions that come straight off top of the dome.
No problem.
And the first question that I want to know is, how did you get into hardcore? What was the first band's... Because let's be straight. You've been in the band Madball, that's the top of the tree, for fucking how many years?
Over 20,
Easy
25.
Madball's first incarnation was 88.
No, but I mean, how long you've been?
I was in Madball from 2001 until 2017.
So that's
16
years.
years.
So before we get to Madball, what was your first introduction into hardcore? What was your first band?
So when I was a kid growing up on Long Island, I was into metal. And then I had some friends that started putting me on to. So Long Island, just give you the background. Long Island is a suburb of New York City. It's an hour outside of New York City. And in the 80s, it was, you know, an hour away from something like that. You're very detached. You don't have access to records. You don't have access to shows. You know, you're basically in the sticks for that, you know, for all intents and purposes. So to me, I started hearing about stuff. Oh, this is hardcore. And they're like, well, you know, check this out. SOD, this is a hardcore band. And I'm like, oh, cool. I like, you know, this is cool. I like it. DRI, cool. This is hardcore. And then in 10th grade, I was, let's see, that's like, you're about 15 years old. 10th grade, there was a dude that moved from New York City out to my town, and he transferred to my high school. And I seen him walking down the hallway one day with a Metallica shirt on, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Oh, shit, we got a new metalhead.
I bet it was a Master Puppets.
It was Ride the Lightning.
Oh, okay.
It was a Ride the Lightning shirt.
Wow.
And so me and him start talking, and he's like, you know, we start comparing music, and then I'm like, yeah, I like hardcore too. And he's like, what hardcore do you like? And I say, DRI and SOD. He's like, that's not hardcore. He's like, and he had come from New York City, so he had been going to CBGB Sunday matinees since he was 13 years old or whatever. Wow. And he's like, no,
fucking wild
New York
place to be.
hardcore. He's like,
At 13.
He's like, yeah, because that's what you did. You know,
Do CBGBs have like age limits? Because I always
they did, but you would always cheat it.
How?
They always it was 16 and over. But this is a funny story. You get me going here, we'll go for hours.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
To get into CBGBs, you had to prove you were 16. The only thing you can get as a 16-year-old back then was working papers. So when you turned 16, you had to get a piece of paper. You'd go to you did it at your high school. You went in and you said, I want my working papers, and you'd fill out a thing, and then you'd give you this card that had no picture on it. It had nothing to prove that that's you. All it had was your name and your date of birth and maybe your social security number. I don't know. But it was this green piece of paper, and it was your working papers. So you would trade those off. Somebody would lend you this shredded up green piece of paper, and you'd go into CB's, and the woman, so Hilly Crystal was the owner of CBGB's. I believe it was his wife, this woman Karen, who would be working the door, and you'd get up there and you'd be trembling as you hand this thing to her because she was trying to catch people out there. Yeah, she'd be like, you're a Sagittarius, right? and you're like, and if you weren't a Sagittarius and you went for it, you're like, yeah. She'd be like, get the fuck out of here. No, he's fucking full of shit. So that's her way of making sure people weren't using other people's IDs. And the funny story, so that, again, I'll tell these stories forever. When I turned 16, I sat down at the dinner table with my family, and I remember announcing to the family, well, I'm going to go get my working papers tomorrow. And my father, I felt the pride puff up in him, like, wonderful, finally this fucking loser of a kid's going to get his shit together and start getting a job. That's great. What kind of job do you want to get? I'm like, I'm not doing this to get a job. I just want to be able to get into CBGBs. So it was down the tube. So anyway, so this friend of mine, he was the one that put me on to Agnostic Front. Sick of it all. The Cro-Mags, Token Entry, all the New York hardcore bands that I grew up with, I traced back to this one dude that really schooled me on New York hardcore.
Wow, man. Just a quick question. Do you know a band called Rush?
Rush?
Thank you.
The metal band. I mean, the rock band.
We had a podcast with Josh from Stout, and this Steve and Josh went on for about half an hour about Rush. And I said, I don't know a single thing about Rush or know anyone that knows the band Rush.
I'll
So
tell
I
you-
thought I'll ask you, seeing you're the mecca of metal and hardcore.
I wouldn't consider them metal. They're like progressive rock.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you two things. They're a great band. And the second thing I'll say
I
is
thought you'd like 'em,
is
that's why I
that
asked.
nobody of the age group under 40 is going to know a fucking thing about them.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave Rush there. But, yeah,
But
Steve
hey,
will go
I'm
forever.
like-
Surprised, man.
The funniest thing-
I'm 39, so
The funniest
Yeah.
thing in the Rush documentary was the guy talked. They all talked. They cut to each one of them, and they're like, "Yeah, our crowd, not a lot of girls." They straight up admit it. They're like, they admit that their crowd is some dudes, and they're all nerds.
that documentary cracked me up because they're talking about.
I knew
when they
we'll
went on-
start talking about Rush for half an hour.
just
Go
when
on.
they went on tour with Kiss, right? And you got Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, like, just with all the groupies and having parties in their hotel room, and they were like, we would see all the girls and the party people walking past our hotel room, but we'd be just sitting in there on the edge of the bed watching TV, like watching documentaries on TV, like
Absolutely.
proper nerds playing for nerds.
So CBGBs, man, going back to, I remember, I was lucky, I've never seen a show in CBGBs. I remember before it closed down, I got to go in the venue, and I have to say it was a shithole. It was a proper shithole,
Absolutely.
but in an amazing way.
Best venues are, man.
It is fucking, you looked at this venue and you could just feel the energy. You couldn't see the floor, you couldn't see the wall, the stickers fucking everywhere, man.
Absolutely.
What's some of the best shows that you can remember seeing at CBGBs, man?
I remember I was so when I first went, it was just before New York hardcore got the attention of a bigger audience. So I remember shows where you didn't think anything. Okay, so if I played a Madball show, if Knuckle Dust played a show that was 40 people there, and after you finish the song, you hear a little smattering of applause, you would think like, this is just like a bullshit show, like nobody's fucking here, this fucking dead ass crowd or whatever. That was the standard of CBGB Sunday matinees. There was 50 people there.
Wow.
But none of us felt like this was a bum out show. It just, that was the size of the scene. And then, again, there's other people that would dispute this. There's other guys that are older than me that would say, the moment that this was this date and this. For me, I remember there was a magazine, a metal magazine called Rip Magazine, and they did a piece in their magazine. They had Motley Crue and Scorpions and Iron Maiden on the cover. And then one of their issues came out, and they had a thing on the New York hardcore scene. And after that, all of a sudden, The Secret was out. I remember seeing Murphy's Law at CB's, and it was also coincided when Murphy's Law had just gotten back from supporting the Beastie Boys on an arena tour.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, you've got 600 kids trying to get into CB's.
In that little room?
In that little room. Like, it would just be,
Wow.
It would be so packed that it would literally rain in there. The moisture would drip off the ceiling.
Yeah.
You'd feel drops coming down. Murphy's Law, summer of '87. Agnostic Front, summer of '87. I remember just unbelievably packed out shows, and just so incredible. The vibe was amazing.
Can you remember some of the iconic bands that you saw there?
Well, those two.
and-
I saw the Agnostic Front live record, the live at CBGB's.
Oh man,
I was there for
that's
that.
Most probably one of my. Is that the one with Evans?
It's the one with the American flag boots cover.
No, I mean there's a live one they recorded the CD for, and it's got Evans from Biohazard. He sings a bit on it.
No, this is probably before that.
Oh wow! I know they've done. I think they've recorded three times there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did a bunch. This was the
Yeah.
first one. This was, I believe, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think this was right before Roger went away to jail.
Oh, right.
And
right.
it was just an insane show. The New York Hoods opened up. These are bands that, like, I don't even know if anybody's even heard
Nah,
of.
have you heard it, Lewis?
No,
Steve?
I was going to say I didn't know
Woods?
them.
I've heard of New York Hoods, but never listened to them before.
New York
right?
Hoods, band called Trip Six,
No, I never
Never
heard.
heard the name.
Nausea.
No.
Nausea. This is some old school. No, old school.
I think is that like the?
They were like
I've seen the logo.
Nausea was like a crust
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah.
Old, New York hardcore band. The thing I remember about that show was, so they were setting up the recording rig. They had a real 2-inch 24 track. If it was 24 or 16, I don't know. But it was a 2-inch tape machine that they had set up out by the console. it might have actually lived there permanently because CBs would always offer multi-track recordings to their bands and they'd sell it to them. So they're using that, but the support band finished forever ago, and they're trying to get everything queued up for this recording, and people are waiting and waiting and waiting. Now this place is packed to the rims, and the guys are on stage. Like it's Roger and Vinny and Steve Martin, I think, and the old AF lineup, and they're up there, and the lights are up, but everyone's sitting there just waiting because we're trying to get this ready, guys. Just hang on. And the tension built up, and the tension built up, and the tension built up. And I don't know what the first song is on the actual record, but because they changed the sequence. But the first song they dropped into when they finally were ready to go was Crucified. And people were getting murdered.
I would lose my mind, man.
People were getting murdered. The tension that built up over all that time, everybody was waiting.
Yeah.
By the time they finally clicked into that song, it was just bedlam. I mean, I'm a big dude. I was going nowhere near that pit. I was up on the side on this little porch that you could there was a light board up on the side of the place opposite from where the sound was. And in front of that light board was a little like something you could stand on. And I was up above it all looking down on it. It was unbelievable show.
That's fucking incredible, man. So you gonna say something, Lewis?
No, I'm gonna say no. I just took a little breath.
Shut this guy up.
I can't breathe properly in it.
So, Mitch, man, let's talk about your bands, man. Your first band was tell me.
Crown of Thorns.
When did you join Crown of Thorns? Like,
I played in bands when I was younger. That was like the kind of bands that you're begging your friends to come see you play.
because really, do you class yourself as a metalhead? Whenever I speak to you, you always talking about metal.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself a metalhead, but then when I think about it, I was going to hardcore Sunday matinees when I was 15.
Yeah, I mean, I know we all know you're fucking.
So yeah, but I mean, originally I was a metal guy, but I got into hardcore 4 years later. So I guess I'm a both. It's hard to say.
Okay, cool. So Crown of Thorns.
So Crown of Thorns. So
How long was you in them for?
summer of '96, Crown of Thorns needed a guitar player. I thought I had it. It didn't work out. I was trying to get Ezek's attention, and he didn't know who I was. My buddy was trying to introduce me to him. And then a second time, same thing. Like, I thought I was in. Like, the guy that they had playing bass for him at the time was like, yo, get your passport. We're going to Japan. You're in. And I'm like,
shit.
And then their drummer at the time, who ended up being my boy down the road, Goat. Goat played for Murphy's Law. Goat's in the Misfits now.
Oh shit.
Before I knew him, I remember him calling me up going, we're going to Japan, and it'd be all fine and good if you just jumped in this band and go to Japan, but that ain't gonna happen, buddy. And I'm like, whoa, fuck, I was crushed. So the third time was the charm, and the third time I finally got them somebody convinced them to try me out, and I went down and I practiced with them, and I knew the songs note for note, and got in that. So Crown of Thorns was fall of '97. And we did that for about 6 months, and then Ezek's like, fuck this, we're done with this band, we're making it into Scarhead. He took basically the same lineup of guys and made and now Scarhead had been around before that, but it had been around as a side project. They made an EP.
I had that. The EP was the one with the skull on the
The Drugs, Money, Sex one, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man.
But they had only played a handful of shows.
Yeah.
So his thing was no, we're going to make this a real band, and we're going to go for it. We're going to really, we're going to get out on the road, we're going to tour. It's going to be, the management was behind it and the whole nine. And so I started in Scarhead with that in spring of '98.
Jesus, man. So how long were you in Scarhead for?
So Scarhead went from '98 to 2002, which kind of overlapped when I ended up playing for Madball, which was spring of '01. But originally I was playing for Madball just as a fill-in because they were going to break up. And they asked me to just do the last tours with them. And I said, yeah, I'm in Scarhead, but we got time. So I played a couple of tours with Madball. Madball broke up for a year. And then in the fall of '02, Freddie convinced Hoya, let's do this again and let's go full tilt. And then they asked me to join that.
Wow, man. So you joined. Wow,
Cool, man.
Sorry, clap for that, man.
Yeah.
So you joined Madball. What album?
It was after Hold It Down had been out, and then the first thing I recorded with the band was the New York Hardcore EP we did in 2003.
Oh yeah, that's fucking.
Orange
And that was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
year that year we toured with a legendary London hardcore band called Knuckle Dust,
Later on.
which were supported by these little band called Suicidal Tendencies and Ignite.
I was going to talk about
These guys.
That's the first time I ever met you was on the is it Persistence?
Resistance.
Resistance
Yeah,
tour.
Resistance, then you have Persistence.
Yep.
And they changed the
Eastpak
name.
Resistance
And now-
tour.
What was the lineup? It was Suicidal Tendencies,
Suicidal Tendencies, Ignite,
Ignite.
Madball, Sworn Enemy, Knuckle Dust, Length of Time, and that might be it. Unless, and if
it
I'm
was-
forgetting somebody,
it was-
Death
no.
by Stereo.
Death by
God.
Stereo.
God strike me down.
So Knuckle Dust, like we had a little Mercedes Sprinter van, and we was
Yeah.
following their tour bus.
But if you remember the story, in New York City, I was coming out of Madison Square Garden, and were you there? Ray was there for sure.
I don't know, I can't
So I
remember.
was coming out of Madison Square Garden, coming out of a Ranger game, and this bullshit little bar across the street from Madison Square Garden that it's not like a scene bar. This is a bar by the train station. And I'm in there drinking, and Ray or one of you guys comes up there, hey, are you Mitz from Madball?
Oh really?
And I'm like, what's up? Yeah, we're in town, and you guys were in town, and you guys were at that bar because you didn't know where to go.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that the time that I walked into Manitoba's unannounced?
Yeah, I think so.
They were playing a show at Manitoba's, and I just happened to be on fucking holiday over there.
Is that bar still there?
It's still there, but we
Yeah.
don't frequent it.
Yeah. We won't get into that then.
That was our heyday that was our home base for quite a while back in the heyday.
So I was going to ask you, because Lewis is in a band, Steve is in a band, I'm in a band, and we've never ever done music full time. I think to do music full time, especially in hardcore, is a very brave thing to do. Like, because you don't get a pension from it as such, do you?
Fuck no.
So at the point you got asked to join Madball, is that the first time you've done music full time? Was it easy?
I had gone with. I've been doing Scarhead full time at the same time.
So you was making a living from Skyhead?
No, not really. No, not even a little bit. To be honest with you, I mean, listen. I think that everybody in hardcore who is in it for the long term everybody's got to find their own way to make their ends meet. I mean, I never got rich playing in any band, but I managed to figure out, well, I can work this job freelance in between this, or other guys got other side hustles. I mean, this is a very working class genre of music. Anybody who's doing it full time is got some other circumstance that they're putting together to make it happen.
That's insane, man.
It's nobody's. I mean, there might be the top 1% of a couple of bands that are making enough money to just do what they do and come home and do nothing. I mean, I reached a point in my life where I realized, like, God damn, I got to work in between tours. I can't. I went for it for a while, and I had circumstances like, I inherited a house from family, so I was lucky in that regard.
Oh, that's cool. Yes,
I mean,
help.
it was not to get too personal on stuff, but I had a living situation that was somewhat taken care of. I had to upkeep it, and I had to whatever. But I think that, and that's why you see so much turnover in hardcore and punk rock and whatever. When you see bands that have had 12, 13, 14 lineup changes, it's because dudes got reality comes around. Dudes end up having wives and kids and buying houses and stuff, and you got to pay those bills. And 95% of the time, this music don't pay for it.
Yeah, no, for real, man. Like, I would love to do music full time, but it's just there's no possible way. I don't. What you guys think, man?
I'd do it full time in a fucking heartbeat, but like, how much would you really earn from it? Like, how would you make those ends meet? As you say, it's fucking,
Exactly, mate. Because it's just about pretty much most bands just want to break even, innit? Like,
Yeah.
so it's not about making profit. It's just making sure you don't have to fucking
No, it's about making
spend
a
that.
profit.
You know?
that's why I'm doing. That's why I'm doing my side rock band, so I can get fucking money out of it to fund my hardcore habit.
No, but getting back to Madball, so you was in. Thank you, Ammo. Yeah, so like, you've travelled all around the world with Madball, man, like 16 years. What's some of the favourite places you've played? Like,
I would say that just to give you a short and not get into a long, winding thing, South America was always incredible with Madball because.
So go on.
Yeah, you got Freddie and Hoya, who are both of Latin descent, or they're American, but they're of that Spanish Latin culture, and their families were both from. Freddie's Cuban Colombian, and Hoya is Ecuadorian, and I believe Nicaraguan is his bloodline. And so going down there, those fans are appreciative of any band coming down there. They don't get a lot of bands down there. So when a band comes and plays for them, those fans go absolutely ballistic. And then you've got Freddie and Hoya both speak the language, and we're coming down there and we've got 3 and 4 songs in Spanish, and the audience, the fans know that these guys have a lineage to their culture. I mean, it was just bananas.
That's insane, man.
They really fucking love. I've seen I know it's not hardcore, but I've seen the Iron Maiden documentaries and stuff like that when they go to fucking Brazil and Argentina and stuff like that.
They go mental, innit?
Fucking mental down there.
Yep.
Like proper mobbed out, waiting outside their hotel for them to walk out to the tour bus and things
What's the
like
video
that.
where they was inside, like, the Madball video where they're in the... What's the word you use for it?
Favela?
Oh, the favela.
Yeah. Because I remember hearing Freddie or Hoya tell a story about that where they was filming the video. They asked permission or something to film it. And then all these kids just come out and it all happened organically. And afterwards... Was you in that video?
Yeah, I was in the video.
Yeah, can you tell a story about that video?
It was, they had the idea when we were going down there. That was the first time I was with them in South America, and they hadn't been there in quite some time. And they talked about, we should shoot a video in one of the favelas, which is it's anarchy, it's shantytown, it's run by drug lords. It's not, the police don't go in there, it's its own world. And we talked about it with the promoters down there, and the promoters were like, we know these people. They went about it the proper way. We asked permission to go in there. Like, we're not coming in there for the reason of like showing look how dirty it is in here. No, we were coming in there, to
pay respect. Man,
to pay respects. Yeah. And so we ended up going in there, and as we start shooting, we get 3-4 children come around like, hey, what are these guys doing? And they're fascinated by it. The children are checking you out. And then next thing you know, 3-4 children turns into 7, 8, 16, 20. By the end of the day, we had 50, 60 kids following us around. That's and it became...
Like Michael Jackson.
Exactly. I don't know about Michael Jackson's intentions with the kids.
That was a double-edged sword of a question.
They don't want to care about us that way. So go on.
It ended up being something that we had never imagined it was going to be.
And I mean, example, man.
guys were in tears when we were pulling away. It was so emotional. Like when you saw children with no shoes on, children walking down dirt streets, living in homes that have no electricity, or electricity that someone climbed up a pole and ran a cable from, and the level of poverty that these people live in, and they're still happy. They're not, like you get kids nowadays, even ourselves, like if our fucking phone gets taken away for 2 hours, we're crying about it. These kids don't have clean water, they don't have electricity, they don't have, any money, and they're happy. They're kicking a football around with a hole in it, and they knew how to kick it the certain way that it didn't deflate. And it was one of the most amazing moments of my life. I at times I go to bed thinking to myself, man, those kids, I'm going to bed in a nice bed in a house with electricity and heat and warmth and all these, first world luxuries. And those kids right now, they're in that place sleeping on a mattress that's third generation handed down.
That's insane.
It really, really puts things into perspective.
I mean, would you say that's your favourite? You've done quite a few Madball videos. Is that your favourite one? Would you say?
Of course.
The most important one.
I mean, it meant something. I mean, other videos look cool, but this was a life-changing experience.
Nah, that's cool, man. So let's should we have a guitar nerdy moment? Like, I've been with you a few times. We'll be drinking. I'll be thinking to myself, "Shit, you're playing with Madball. Like, are you gonna be alright?" And every time I see you, like seriously, every time I see you, you don't miss a note. I would say you're one of the in hardcore. You're easily one of the top 5 tightest guitar players, man.
Thank you.
So how did you get into the guitar playing, man? I know you like to as well. I want to ask you about is it the BC Rich that you play?
Yeah, I played BC Rich.
What happened to the red one? I know it's a sore subject. You had the red one that was just your
No, well, it was a wood one.
the wood one. It
The
got
wood
stolen,
one, yeah,
right?
like a dark. Yeah, my house was burglarized in 2013.
Shit.
How long
Came
did
home from the city and walked in my front door, and I looked around my house, and every drawer was dumped. And I had that moment where that's one of the worst moments you can ever have, is when you realize someone's been in my house.
Yeah, that's
and
horrible.
then I went and like the TV's gone, the laptops are gone, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is horrible. And then that moment went through my head like, holy shit, wait a minute. And I ran down into the basement where we had the band. We had been practicing at my house at that point, and all the guitars were gone.
So
I would have been fucking actually in tears if my guitar. I've got one guitar that I can't. I would never be able to afford to replace, and if that got stolen, you know, the one that I always use.
yeah,
That's what this
Darkness.
was. I don't care about the laptops. I don't care about the big screen TVs. I don't care about anything else they stole.
Yeah.
They took a guitar from me that these motherfuckers don't even have a clue as to what it's worth.
I'm just gonna take it to some shit
Is it-
pawn shop, innit?
Obviously, it's worth a lot of money, but is it?
Yeah.
Can you explain the history of the guitar? Because you had that guitar for
It was
a very
it
long
was a
time.
BC
Brown one, right?
Yeah, the brown wood one. It was a BC Rich Mockingbird. I think it was 82 or 83. It was It was bought for the birthday of the first dude I ever jammed with when I was like 13. His mother bought it for him when he was 14 for his birthday, and then he ended up having a fucking drug problem when he was in his 20s, and calling me up and saying, "Hey, I'm selling that guitar. Yo, you want it? Give me $500." And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll fucking buy that for $500."
Wow, you
that
got
thing's
bargain.
worth $4,000, $4,000 if you were to find it today. And then that was it. That was my baby from '95 until 2013, till it got stolen.
Fuck. Do you?
Until every time he submits on stage.
I used that
Yeah.
same guitar.
That guitar.
Every band
Every time.
that was my baby.
From Scarhead onwards.
Scarhead, Crown of Thorns.
Onwards. You see
I
that
took it.
every-
I
every
played even
photo.
filling in for other bands. I
Every
used
photo.
it.
I mean,
Man.
I know you can't say on here. Do you think you have an idea who took it, or do you think?
I have
I
an
don't wanna-
idea.
yeah.
I mean, in reality, it's like it's 50-50 whether it's whoever. Like I own my house, and I rent out to roommates sometimes, and I had somebody living in there about 8 months prior to the robbery that was only living there for about 2-3 months, and it was like, this guy's shady. I was like, you got to go, and it was amicable when he said, okay, no problem, but he left. But one of the reasons I asked him to leave was I saw like traffic coming in and out all day. Like this dude's got people over. And I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if he's like selling drugs or whatever. That's why I asked him to leave.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was somebody that came in and took a look around, like, oh shit, this guy's got some stuff.
I know,
here.
right?
You never know.
And the worst thing about it, you most probably sold the guitar for $200.
They tried to. They tried to sell it.
Oh, so
they tried to sell it, and then we get. It's a long story. They tried to sell them. We ended up getting one of Hoya's basses got returned. Because they go into a Guitar Center, which is like a big chain music store in the States. They went to Guitar Center and they tried to sell all of them. And the only one that was worth under what they would write, they would give them cash. They wanted cash. The only thing that was worth less than the minimum that they would do for cash was Hoy's bass. And so we got the bass back, but the other guitars they wouldn't give them. They're like, we want to write you a check. And these guys are like, no, we don't want a check. So they left with them.
That fucking sucks. Man.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I've got 2 arms and 2 legs, and I'm
that's
healthy.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it breaks my heart. But there's other people out there that have lost a lot worse stuff in their lives, loved ones, and their health, and it's a tragedy, but only in the confines of first world problems.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And I was very lucky.
Yeah, that's
and I was
true.
very lucky.
That's true.
A good friend of ours, Keith, his name is, who's a management type guy, and he's in the industry, been in the industry for years. He helped me lobby BC Rich after that happened and was like, hey, this guy's been playing your guitars for his entire career. This is what he's known for. Let's hook this guy up. What do you say? And they responded and they gave me, I got 2 free,
I saw 'em,
two
man.
free
Lovely,
BC
man.
Rich. They're not the same one that I lost, but they're great instruments and they were able to take me for, up to this day.
Wow, man. Respect,
That's
man.
cool.
Respect to them.
So you know what? I wish. I knew you was coming because I would have prepared more questions, man. Because I know there's a million
problem.
things that I would leave this room thinking, oh shit, I should have asked him that. I should have asked him this. Couple questions. One is, what is your favourite Madball gig ever?
So I would say we played at random, like one that you wouldn't think of that maybe the other 3 guys don't agree. We played a show in Paris about 5-6 years ago that was just off the fucking hook.
Give us.
It was at Nouveau Casino. Did you guys ever play there? It was like a mid-sized venue, not the world's
I don't
biggest
think so.
venue, but I think it was called Nouveau Casino, and it was just one of those ones where, you play your shows, even the good shows, where you look out and the floor's going crazy, and then the people in the back, they're watching, but they're drinking their drinks and they're socializing, whatever. There was a floor, there was the back of the floor, there was a balcony, and there wasn't one person that didn't have their hands up, screaming,
Amazing.
yelling, singing the lyrics back. It was just, I had chills. That was a great show.
Shit, man. So you departed from Madball in 2016? 17, sorry. What's it like adapting back to, for someone that's always out on the road touring the world,
Right.
is it hard adapting back to just
Yeah, I
normality?
was going to ask actually, because are you getting into sort of producing records now? Is that like going to be
Yeah, I
going
mean,
forward?
the
What's the
producing-
next chapter for me?
Sure. So the producing thing is something that's the next chapter. If you summed it up, I was doing that before when I was still in the band, and I was doing it when I was much younger. I'm not done playing. I'm writing a lot of music right now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm considering putting a project together with some people. Maybe release something, do a record. Who knows? But my options are open. I'm fully open to seeing what happens next. In the meantime, it was kind of nice for a little bit. Like, wow, like I'm not, I'm home. I can relax and be home. And not that I ever minded touring. I love touring. I love getting out there, seeing people. I love the social aspect of it. The one thing that is a downside of it is that, like, how many times a year I see you? 3 times a year because of tour.
That's right.
I mean, I see people in all these cities, and now it's like, well, I'm not coming through with the band anymore.
Yeah,
So, and I got to find other ways. And
Yeah, I know.
I love to travel, and the thing I cherish the most out of 20 years that I toured, and hopefully will still tour, is the friendships I made and the people I met. I've got friends on every corner of the globe, and I'm grateful for that forever.
I always say being in a band is like a woman. Can't live without them.
Sure.
Can't live with them.
Sure.
Sorry, women.
And it's funny.
Fucking sexist, man.
It's so funny when you think
Women will
about
say the same about men. It's fine.
when
They
people
fucking
back
hate
home,
me.
they're like,
ruined it,
"Oh,
bro.
you're such a rock star." I love when people say that. Like, you're such a rock star. Like, you have no idea how much we got to grind out here.
Oh
on the
yeah,
road.
they don't see the
man.
behind the
There's a
scenes.
huge downside to it.
Yeah, there is.
But the upside is you see the world and you meet so many amazing people that you wouldn't have met if you weren't playing music.
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Anyway, man, yeah. So on this podcast, basically, we want to go over some of the highs and lows of 2018. And one of the first things I want to hit is Lewis, man. You went to America.
Yeah, man.
How was your trip, man?
I had a great time, man. Well, basically, what happened was I wanted to go out in September to Tsunami Fest, but I couldn't make it because obviously it was playing at Foundation Fest up in Leeds. So I just postponed my trip to like 2 months later and went in November. So, I booked 10 days to go out to America, see some friends, go to maybe a couple of shows, eat as much food as humanly possible.
I did see you post bare pictures on Instagram of like burgers and...
Mate, I fucking had so much food, man. It
What
was
were you drinking though?
ridiculous.
What beers were you hitting?
Hit that, what's that? It's a company called, brewery called Fatheads. I drank a few of that
Right.
shit. But, Yeah, that was like the sort of posh beers, I'll say, or the fucking IPA world, drinking that sort of stuff. But I was just mostly drinking Miller Lite and fucking Yingling. Yeah, dude, I like regular shit. I like regular shit, man. Like, what can I say? I like, just like the cheap regular shit. I like that shit, but at least it keeps you going. You can't drink fucking IPAs all night. Well, some people can, but
No,
I
you must
certainly
explode.
can't. Yeah, I certainly can't drink that shit all night. I'll be fucked.
Now, our boy Richie, shout out to Richie from Wisdom in Chains. He always shits on English food. So I've got Mitts, I've got an American, and I've got an English guy who's just come back from America. Who has the better food, England or America? Discuss.
I'm going to say that America has the best food across the board. However, you guys have some stuff here that we can't fuck with. The Indian food here is head and shoulders above any Indian food in the States. But after that, everything else we got is better. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say the Chinese food that we got over here is better as well.
yeah, I'm going to agree as well. I think our Chinese food over here is much better as well.
Oh, what are you Chinese?
I think America is only good for American diner food. Like your
No,
burgers,
you guys haven't been
your
out. You
steaks.
guys haven't been out and
No,
about.
America. Above America.
You haven't been out and about.
Yeah, okay.
At some point.
Next time I go.
I've done a proper American experience with Thanksgiving because I was over there during that time.
Oh yeah, you can't fuck with your
man,
country. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I'll give you
I was
that.
asking you. I was asking you about that.
Oh man, the fucking Thanksgiving food was.
The Wednesday night before Thanksgiving is like known as rookie night.
Oh, yeah.
That's the night that all the kids come home from college. Every bar in every town is just packed beyond belief.
Wow.
And you're bound to have fights and arrests, and it's all the kids. That's their first year away from home. They're coming home that night, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. They're coming home back to their hometown, and they're getting in a fight and they're going to jail.
We have
White people.
we have Black Eye Friday, which is the Friday before Christmas, and that's when everybody finishes work for their Christmas holidays. And people that don't usually drink, they go out, they drink, and they get a black eye.
Rookie night.
Yeah.
Rookie night.
Amateur hour.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.
So did you see any shows out there?
So yeah, I went to show in Brooklyn to see my friend's band play Departed. They played, can't remember the whole lineup. I know there was a band called Threat to Society from New Jersey. They were fucking banging, man. They were really, really fucking good.
What style are they like? So what?
They're almost like sort of, I don't want to say they're like youth crew. They're not a youth crew band at all, not in the slightest, but it's just the sort of style and their vibe. It's very upbeat, energetic shit, but it's fucking punches, like it's hard. It's New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So it's just got that hard fucking element to it. But the band of the night, the headliner band was Line of Scrimmage, and holy fucking shit, mate. That place fucking went off, mate. This venue was in Brooklyn, like, can't remember exactly, but was it in the centre of Brooklyn? It was like in some Chinatown sort of type area where there's just like loads of Chinese restaurants and like warehouses and shit. And I thought the fucking floor was gonna collapse, like, because like.
Was it up on the first floor then?
Yeah, it was on the first floor. So at the bottom there was a bar where you get all your drinks and shit.
Okay.
The bar was fucking gully, man. There was like people smoking in the bar, not smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. There was all these fucking like Latino and black chicks behind the bar. When I went to go buy a drink, they were like, I went to buy a drink, can I get a bottle of Heineken? And they'd be like, say that again?
Say that again?
Say that again? And I was like, oh God, like, yeah.
How many times I've heard that in America as well, man?
Loads of times.
Fuck.
But yeah, when Line of Scrimmage played, it just fucking, wow, it was like carnage, man. The whole place just fucking went wild. People were dancing fucking hard. Respectful, but kind of raw at the same time. Like, it was like people were doing the crowd killing shit. I mean, not just hitting anyone. There's mostly people hitting their friends and that.
Yeah.
But there were some breakdowns where it just descended into fucking chaos. And then the mic cut out halfway through. So I think they played like 3 or 4 songs. The mic went. And then after that, the band just kept on playing. And it was just, it went even more fucking crazy, man. Like, it went fucking
So
wild.
what happened with the owners? When the owners like, okay, you need to calm this down
The
now.
owners were, because I think, because everyone was dancing so hard, that's what's saying about the fucking floor, like, the floor felt it was going to cave in and everyone's just going to fall to the bottom where the bar was, like. So I think the owners come up and were like, yo, what the fuck's going on? People were just dancing hard, like. And then, yeah, man.
Did they try and stop the show?
Yeah, they did try to stop the show a couple of times.
And it just
Kept going, like, it just kept going. And it's funny because I said to one of our boys, Sean, who lives out there, big up Sean, he's a fucking good dude, man. And I was like, Sean, Ammo wants a fucking Line of Scrimmage t-shirt, I need to get him one. But I'm gonna wait till after the band plays, so I don't want to get it now and be carrying it and shit. Didn't even get to that point because all the merch tables just went
smashed.
Just all got smashed up.
Lewis, was there anything else that happened on your trip?
No, I never got to shoot guns this time, which is sad.
Can I tell you a quick story about my first... Gareth, I saw you shooting guns, man. I've never shot a gun in my life, but I want a quick...
I fucking love it, mate.
I just want to tell a quick story about that, actually. My first time in America, I went to Miami, and it was actually around... It was when 9/11 happened. I was supposed to come home. I was supposed to come home the day before, and I got basically stuck out there for another week. I remember the first night, my boys went into, is it 7-Eleven or one of them shops? And I was outside waiting for them for ages. And at this time, I never knew nothing about the gun laws in America. People could carry guns. I've never even seen a gun. And I don't know, I had this crazy idea to run into the shop. And I went, and I shouted to the top of my voice, "This is a motherfucking sticker!" And everyone fucking turned around, looked at me, and this guy behind the counter, he went underneath the counter, and then there was a point where I started laughing.
You did this?
I did this. I went into the shop.
I can't imagine.
I thought you were talking about hypothetical.
No, this actually happened. My boys were in the shop,
And you walked in and yelled at.
"It's a motherfucking sticker!"
In Florida.
You would have got fucking...
But you gotta remember, I was only about 19. And
It's amazing you're still sitting here.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to
For
tell you
real,
a
bro.
story. So the guy behind the counter ducked down, and then I started laughing with my friends in the shop, and they're like, "Oh, stop being a dickhead." And the guy behind the counter goes to me, "Motherfucker, I almost blew your fucking head off." And that fucking sentence just stick with me. And he showed me the handle of the gun, and I was like, fucking hell, man. So that's it, man.
That's it.
End of the year, I just want to thank everyone that supports this podcast and listens to this podcast. I want to thank Smits for coming down.
Thank you for having me, man. This was
It's
awesome.
been a fucking blast, man. And I want to wish everyone an amazing Christmas and a happy New Year. You guys got any
Yeah,
final
we'll see you in
words?
2019.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year!
Happy Kwanzaa.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.